Okay, so on to match one of our recent Dredge League. We are going to lose the die roll. Now opponent's going to take a couple of seconds to decide whether or not to play. And we're going to see a pretty great opening hand. We've got a Bizarre, we've got a Mindbreak Trap and a Misstep for if they try anything funny. And they're leading on a library into Mox Jet, which I would have thought was a little unusual. I would have thought they would have wanted to keep the extra card in hand for the library to draw up. But either way, we're happy. So they played a Dark Confidant, which I don't think we're super concerned about. It's going to draw them a lot of extra cards over time, but I think at least game one, it's not really obviously going to draw them into much action. And into Stoneforge. And as I haven't seen Stoneforge really played much in Vintage, I'm not really sure what they'd be grabbing. I would assume if you're playing Stoneforge, you play Jit, but okay, Sword of Fire and Ice, that makes more sense. Okay, so here we're obviously going to pitch the Thugs and the Icarid, and we've got a City of Brass to therapy them with next turn, so... And obviously we just want to Bizarre in response to the Icarid. We'll dredge the Thug and the Troll, and we're hitting triple Narcomoeba, which is going to be pretty great here. We can pitch the Flamekin. And we've hit an Amalgam. So I think if we'd hit a couple of bridges, this would be the nuts. Unfortunately, no bridges as of yet. We're not too concerned about that at the moment, though. I think we can just bash in with Icarid without any worry at the moment. They're not going to block, so we're just going to punch 3 off their life total. We use the therapy to take a look at their hand, and then we can always flash it back with the Icarid. So we'll take the sword, it's the card we know, and I guess we can probably... I don't know if I feel like we maybe take the snap here. We've got a misstep for the swords. So let's see if I make the right decision. Okay, we really should have taken the snap there just because it takes more action away from them and leaves them less options open. We're still going to be okay because even if they do snap player, which they will now have the mana to do as of this turn, we're going to be able to, we're just going to be able to misstep it. I think we can expect to have possibly... Okay, so they can only cast 1 swords this turn. So I guess the one reason to take the snap over the swords over the snap there is it's more mana intensive for them to sword just afterwards. And we really should have misstepped that. I think that was a pretty big error there. Fortunately, we're now starting to hit bridges. So I think we can afford to... Yeah. Okay, they're just going to scoop. So for this, we're going to want the Elushnor over the Flamekin. We are going to want a City of Brass over the Petrified Field. We're not too worried about Wasteland. And we're just going to trim some numbers to get probably Serenity, a couple of Ingot Chewers, a couple of Nature's Claims, and so here I think we should have kept the extra Serum Powder and cut the Mindbreak traps. And we really should be boarding in a Barbarian Ring. I think if we don't board in the Barbarian Ring here, we're leaving ourselves wide open to getting blown out by Containment Priest. And Ixalar Jailer, to be realistic here. We did see them play black as well, so they can run one and or both, depending on how hateful they want to be. Now, opponent's just going to take a few minutes to sideboard. They probably have to do a little bit more thinking. I think it's obviously a lot harder to sideboard with a deck that's by and large a lot of singletons and looks like some value creatures. I feel like the easiest cut from their side of the table is going to be the Stoneforgers. So we're going to see less of them. I still think the Confidants are quite good. We have to mull this. We have no Bazaar. We have double Therapy, double Bloodghast, which would be nice, but obviously we're not doing anything. Well, Serum Powder, we're going to lose a bit of action, but we get to keep. I think we have to put the Ingot Chewer on the bottom, because we need to draw into either a coloured source or a Dredger here. And I suppose our opponent was possibly using Soul Ring to try and bait a misstep there. I can't be 100% sure. So the fact that they've left Tundra open is signalling pretty strongly to me that they're playing the Containment Priest and that they're holding up mana for it. So I think in the draw step we'll draw the Salvage. We'll play the Salvage. And there we go. There's the Containment Priest. And we have to concede, because we have no outs to this. So we sideboarded poorly and we got punished. I guess we don't have to concede. We can hard cast our creatures, but this is going to be a losing battle here. I guess the one thing with the Containment Priest is it means that we can still say play into casting a Stinkweed Imp, using that to stonewall the Containment Priest, and we're still able to flashback therapies to get lots of zombies. Okay, and he's obviously going to go Stoneforge into something like Jit or a... Yep, cast the Jit. And we'll just use the Mindbreak trap while we have a chance. And we have to pitch the Nature's Claim there. It's not really doing us much good. The Serenity can potentially just take them off a bunch of mana and other useful stuff. So we're kind of a little bit more interested in holding on to that. But we now have a fairly short period of time in which we need to start getting things going. Drawing lands will be helpful. Okay, now it looks like, there we go, this Thug's going to get swords. And I think Snap Acol will more or less seal this up. Okay, so now we're going to get probably 2 Barbarian Rings. And this time we'll get to be on the play. And we mulliganing, because there's a fair bit of action in that hand. I think we could have afforded a Serum Powder. But it's not the end of the world. Having Scryed into Barbarian Ring is going to be quite nice there, unless they rest in peace. Okay, and they've got 2 mana floating, so that's a Containment Priest. Okay. I think we're quite interested in misstepping that top. Okay, and we were just baited. And we don't want to reveal the Barbarian Ring just yet. And fortunately we're giving our opponent a choice here, so they've got to decide whether or not they want to sack the Spell Bomb. I don't think it's correct to do so just yet, but we're going to see how much value we can get off of this. So I think if he doesn't sack the Spell Bomb in response to us flashing back Therapy, then we're going to be in good shape. Okay, so for some reason I've decided to let it wait a turn, which I think is incorrect. I think we wanted to force him to use as much of his graveyard hate as quickly as possible. And I think we're interested in bazaring here, so we're going to pitch whatever we draw. And he's going to trap us. Unfortunately, we hit a third bridge, so this is going to be way too tempting for him. And now I think we're interested in playing out the Barbarian Ring there. I guess we need the Undiscovered Paradise anyway. We'll see if we can get him to trade the Stoneforge. We're going to be a little bit hopeful there that Dark Confidant and Mana Crypt can race his life total for us. I think from here, given the trap that we know about in his hand, plus the fact that he's going to be drawing at least 2 cards a turn, is going to make things pretty hard for us here. Okay, so it's not looking great just yet. Okay, so next turn we want him to draw Force of Will and lose the Mana Crypt flip. Oh, sorry, we want him to draw Force of Will off Confidant and lose the Mana Crypt flip. Jace would do it as well, or Treasure Cruise, or Dig. Or we can get him, or he can Swords his own Confidant. Okay, unfortunately I think Mentor means our only out now is for him to lose his flips. And he's going to be able to gain 4 life, so we're going to need something much more interesting to go right for us here. So we almost need to keep the Ingot Chewer. I think to deal with legit, I don't really see us coming out of this. Okay, and we really should be activating Barbarian Ring, I think, right there to take out Mentor. Although I suppose if he traps in response. So yeah, we need to... We're in a bit of an awkward spot. Okay, and he's got the Containment Priest just to seal us up. And unfortunately, our only hope here is just to pretend like Ravenous Trap doesn't exist. Or hope that it was perhaps brainstormed away. And just go for it. It's not the best hope. In fact, it's pretty slim. And that's where we're going to concede.